Fuck yeah. That is the best intro of all the spooky shows.
Man, I love that intro, and hey, welcome in to the Midnight Prism, folks. And listen, we have, oh God, do we have a barn burner topic for tonight? And it all came together off a tweet that I put out because I was talking about religion.
Whose
And
fifis did you hurt this time?
well, it's not that I hurt the fifis, Coil. It's the fact. And hail, Andy. Great to see you in the chat, buddy. And hail to RR, hail to Wook, hail to everybody that is chilling there in the chat. Sister
All the
Mary
finest.
Sister Mary Sixgun, welcome. Also, welcome to Terminus Est, my dear friend. I do want to, before we begin, and I continue to discuss how this topic came together, I do want to send our thoughts and our best wishes and also prayers to a couple of people that need them this evening. And one of those is our good friend Tree Rock Creations. He is a viewer of this program. He is a supporter of not only myself, but many people around the streaming community, if you will. He's a big supporter of the Dix Division. And we love Tree Rock Creations. And he's recently had a death in his family. And out of respect to the man's privacy, that's all I'll say. But I do want to pass along my condolences and continued prayers for Tree Rock Creations. I also want to send out similar sentiment to our co-host Corey and his wife. His wife seems to be having some physical malady at the moment.
Yeah.
And we do dearly hope that she is all right. And that is why Corey isn't with us tonight. And that is why Coyle and I are rolling 2x2. But that's just fine because as I referenced, I made a tweet earlier today, and I was speaking on faith and why why, again, we talk about organized religion as control, why that is. And the biggest thing is that, Jesus himself, Son of God, our Lord and Savior, his ministry was genius because it was built on the fact that the church would have to be a man-made construct. Now, Jesus was the king of the Jews. He worshipped in synagogues. He followed Jewish tradition, if you will, but he wasn't a rigid man in that, because where he dared to deviate was he told people all are welcome under my roof. He performed miracles on high holy days. He did all kind of things that pissed off the Pharisees. And in modern day, with our doctrines amongst the denominations and everything, because again, all right, these are man-made constructs. If you ask a Christian why they believe how they do, who established the doctrine of your church? Do you go by just the Bible? Do you have certain traditions? Because a lot of Christians, and I say that in air quotes, because they're not very Christian. They are super judgy. You ever notice that? If you're a Catholic and you set foot in a Christian church, and believe you me, this happened to me when I was younger. I dared to walk into a Christian church, the one just up the road from me. They told me, "Well, you're not saved. You will burn in hell." And I said, "Well, you know what? I'm happy to burn in hell because I'm not going to renounce that I'm Catholic or be shamed for being a Catholic. I may not practice the traditions as a Catholic. I may not be the perfect Catholic, but I disagree with the modern turn that my church has taken. You can ask many Catholics. You sit them down privately and say the state of your church. Discuss. The first thing they'll tell you the problem is Pope Francis himself. He has handed the reins full on to woke ideology, to a one world government belief. He has handed the church to abortionists and gone against the very principles that we as Catholics claim to hold dear, which is turning off a lot of people, by the way. That is why you see so many of my faith turning to the Latin Mass, turning to old traditions, because they are trying to purge our church of the blasphemers, of the Luciferians, of the people that have infiltrated and bastardized what we thought we knew. But see, what we thought we knew as Catholics was flawed. Doctrine is based on interpretation. All your denominations, you go down the list, whether it be Christian, whether it be Catholic, whether it be Greek Orthodox, whether it be Jew, whether it be Muslim, whichever. It's based on, because they have 20 different flavors in the Muslim faith, and I'm sure the Jewish have their different denominations. Because again, it's all interpretation, whether it be the Bible, the Torah, the Quran. Okay? It's all man-made. It's based on an interpretation. And unfortunately, what people like to do with interpretation is to use it for a collectivist type of control. This is not limited to politics, as you can well understand. Organized religion has been controlling groups since time immemorial.
Mm-hmm.
The brilliance of Jesus' ministry was that he said, and he said this when he was talking to Nathaniel, when he first met which would be the apostle Nathaniel. And he told him, look, I saw you praying by yourself under the fig tree. I did not turn my face away from you. I saw you, dude. You have refuge in me, man. I saw you, bro. That's exactly what he told them. And the brilliance of it is that the lesson in that is that, look, you can worship where you wish, how you wish. Your relationship with God, with your Creator, is what matters. Your belief in the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit is what matters. It's not standing in the middle of a brick and mortar building. It's as simple as Nathaniel being under the fig tree, praying quietly. You know, all of the other man-made trappings to all of this are minutia. They're all out there because what matters is how you hold your belief, your walk with God is what matters. And see, the rugged individualism has been discouraged. It's discouraged among all of these because a lot of the no, Sister Mary Sixgun. This isn't all going to be Sunday school. It's going somewhere. Because what I'm trying to say is, they look at you when you try to make a point like this in the middle of your church. If you try to tell your church elders or your church leaders this, they would look at you like you were the blasphemer of all blasphemers. They would say, "Oh, burn the heretic." Maybe not, they wouldn't say that, but that would be their reaction. Jaws would hit the floor. Because they're not ready to hear that kind of truth. But guess what? That truth is right in the Bible. So you see the hypocrisy, is what I'm trying to say. And all of these man-made trappings have controlled the masses from and actually coerced them to do many things along the lines of even atrocity if we go back as many years. If we go back to recent years, you could go on the Muslim side of things and say, you know, different interpretations of the Quran caused atrocities there too, but we'll get back to that. But this is what I'm trying to say. Organized religion is not the be-all, end-all. And everybody that follows a denomination thinks it is. But it's not. If anything, right now, so many of the organized religions and denominations, these churches, their hierarchies are all infiltrated. And guess what they're infiltrated with? The depopulationists, the globalists, New World Order people. Why do you think they infiltrated the church? The church has been one of their chess pieces forever. Hell, the church wrote the book on control. So you have to to really understand where the control game comes from. Organized religion and its control mechanism is probably step one. I don't know, Coy, I've been on this rant, but feel free to join in. Give me a tip.
Well, yeah, for sure, man. The thing is,
Hail, awesome one.
hell, we got the best chat in the.
And hail, Dwayne Erickson.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when the message is no longer able to be controlled, that's when they want to double down and switch hats and say, "Well, we believe that message too. Matter of fact, we'll manage it for you." So I do want to go on record here. I am not a Catholic. I am spiritual. I'm not religious. But I do say that the stories of Jesus, the type of life he said to lead, is a very high example of what's possible, right?
Yes.
Now, if you look at it in terms of the historical character Jesus, he comes along, he goes into temple, he flips over tables, he's just like, you guys are doing it all fucked up, this is not how it's supposed to be, you know, basically calling them out, step outside, we'll sort this out kind of shit. The Roman state views him as a terrorist, kills him, and then when that doesn't work, when they see that that sort of belief is spreading, instead of being imperial, they decide to be the Holy Roman Empire in an
and
attempt to manage the message, right?
and you know what's funny? Okay, his own people. And hail Tehillim, because I know Tehillim was here, and also hail to Tobak, because I know Tobat's here, and it's great to see you, my friend.
He's always here.
I needed to.
We got some good people here.
I needed to see you, buddy. This thing, and RR is correct. It has been corrupt for centuries, because if you look at it, religion has played so many people off against the other. And again, our Jewish friends, and hail TC Burton,
Hail, buddy.
our Jewish friends gave us a base because, again, Jesus started out, he was a Jew. He observed just some of the faith, although he did follow according to the Torah, because before the Bible there was the Torah, because that was essentially a lot of the Old Testament were based on the teachings of the Torah at the time. The thing about it is they called him an improper Jew because of the way Jesus was doing his ministry. I mean, this is a dude that went into, he went back to his hometown at one point. All his buddies are there. He's kicking it with Lazarus. He's talking to all his boys and everything. And they're like, hey, bro, why don't you go to the church tonight and do a guest spot, doing a reading, because that was their thing in the synagogue. They did a reading from a certain book of the Torah. And Jesus was like, all right, I'll do a guest spot, whatever. And he went in, and the old rabbi there, he did his reading, then Jesus started doing his reading, and then Jesus, about halfway through, closes up the scroll and just starts improvising. And they didn't like that because Jesus was saying shit that, was not traditional. And they were like, bro, you're a blasphemer. They was going to throw him off the damn mountain.
Oh, yeah.
And then what happened was Jesus like, no, this ain't happening today. And he just dipped. But he had the balls to do that in his hometown, man. And that's the thing, because he believed so much in the fact that, yeah, people can have an individual walk with God. They can believe how they want. There is no right one singular way. So you ain't got to be like following the Jews. You ain't got to be following Orthodox or quote Christian, whatever Christians claim themselves to be these days, because they like to change it every week.
That's true, especially when attendance starts to wane.
Yeah.
And to kind of piggyback off of something you said before, so the current Pope is starting to talk about how they need to drop gender-specific pronouns. Have you seen that? So no more he and her, because he's going after the they thems. And see, this is the thing, is historically the religious programming that you've been presented with has nothing to do with ultimate truth or ultimate reality. It's all a management program.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually, and when I say them, I'm not talking about gender people. I'm talking about the behind the scenes people. They have their own version of religion that they practice that's based on ancient Babylonian things, and you might call it satanic. I don't care what you call it. They believe in it, and they're laughing at what you're doing.
Most of the hardcore pronoun people, I mean, let's put it out there. Most of the T Mafia, what I like to call them, the trans mafia people. Okay, they believe in no religion. They believe in the religion of woke. They believe that their power is to change everyone and make them conform to them. There is no doctrine behind it, no dogma, nothing. It's all, you will conform to us. Because this isn't just a societal, this isn't just a trend. We made this your dogma. You have to do this now. And they think that they can bully the world into that being accepted practice. Hail, Chris Mead. Great to see you, my friend.
Well, that's the truth. It's a big fear tactic, and larger and more nefarious than what we've seen in the past couple hundred years, because we now have a global, worldwide instant communication. And so not only do we have the sub knowledge of human knowledge at your fingertips, you have a group of people who are scrambling to control that narrative. And not only that, but they're trying to define what for our young, our children, telling them that if you're 4 or 5 years old and you're playing with a Barbie doll, well, maybe you need to cut out your fucking cock and balls and flip it inside out.
And that's the thing. They have their doctrine and dogma in the religion of wokeness. They're trying to make the religion of wokeness basically filter into all the other religions so that they can influence them, so that they all change their dogma and doctrine to wokeness doctrine, social justice doctrine. I've never thought that I would see in my lifetime a pope advocate for abortion, but here we are. I never thought in my lifetime I would see a pope allow pagan symbols and pagan rituals to be done on the grounds of the High Holy Church. But they did. I mean, and it's and not that I necessarily have anything against pagans these days, but those rituals are borderline. You can argue that they have inroads to demonic forces and Satanism, as do some of the other intersecting religions when you get to the fringes. But getting back to the general picture of it, the woke mob is attempting to hijack organized religion and use that very influential control mechanism to suit them. And the New World Order types are using it to suit them. They already have been, as RR correctly pointed out, for hundreds of years. And Sister Mary Sixgun is correct, yes. The Luciferians, sister, have had control in that for quite a long time. Because many of, and I guarantee you many of the religious leaders, if you looked it up and did enough digging, I bet you a lot of their bloodlines go to 13 original globalist families. But I guess what? I digress, because I don't know if everybody's ready to hear that hard truth.
You talking about the Merovingians?
No, I'm talking about the Luciferians in my church.
Oh, in your church.
in the Catholic faith.
Yeah.
There's some of their bloodline, and I can promise you some of the high religious leaders, whether it be cardinals, whatever, you could probably trace some of their lineages, if you go back far enough, to the 13 original globalist bloodlines. Hail to Phil TMNT. It's great to see you, Phil. TZ Burton says, I do Bible study online on Sunday with Red Dawn Radio. He is an ordained pastor. Tehillim 29 says, good to see you all. RR
Yep.
says Merovingians are intermixed in there. Yes, indeed. But again,
Well, and what we were seeing, or what I'm starting to believe, is that the underground religion that all the world leaders and all the religious leaders were practicing in the shadows, they're trying to bring into the forefront because they're preparing for something,
mhm.
and they
Well, and
want
it's
everybody to be on the same page.
well, that's why you see wickedness being brought mainstream.
Sure.
It's desensitizing people to the ideas of right and wrong. Well, wrong is now right. That's okay. It's fine to have uh, open grooming on children. It's fine to have um, drag queens preying on children. It's fine to openly display blatant symbols of slaughter and Satanism. Hail Shawnista. It's going out.
Well, yeah, so they're trying to desensitize the public to that. Now, it's no secret to people who listen to stuff like this, like the stuff you see at the Super Bowl when they're just doing ritual symbolism, and what you see at like the Oscars and all of that stuff. They're trying to desensitize us to the fact that these symbols are no longer going to be blatant and secret. It's not going to be the secret handshake. It's going to be the overt handshake, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the and even in terms of things like normalizing the idea of minor attracted peoples and trying to put them under the LGBTQ plus alphabet people. Um, they're trying to make it so that they can perform the ritual out in the open. That's that's just the easiest way to say it. Uh, it's hard to disappear millions of children every year. It would be a lot easier if everybody was just on the same fucking page about it.
Well, that's part of it. And there's a thing, I forget what the actual term is to it, where it says that they actually have to telegraph their plan. It's like a way of forgiving themselves by saying, well, we went by free will, and because nobody objected to what we were doing, well, then they accepted it. It's like Tommy says, speak up, because silence equals your consent.
Consent. Yep.
And that's the way these people look at it. Oh, well, the masses are silent, so they must have consented. But no, we
Right.
did not.
No, we don't.
And and they just figured that they can slip all of this in under our noses into every institution possible, including the church, and hijack everything.
Mhm.
And now you see the confluence of all of this. You see the spiritual war ramping up. You see the actual war ramping up. And yes, by the way, folks, we are in a war to exist, for our very right to exist, because the depopulationists want to kill you.
Oh yeah. Well, the comforts of Western civilization is going to be the downfall of Western civilization. They talk about watch out for the microchip and the mark of the beast. Well, you're carrying a cell phone in your fucking pocket everywhere you go. You don't need a microchip anymore.
No, you've invited the devil into your pocket.
Yep.
If we want to be honest, we have the devil in our pocket.
Absolutely.
Now
And
take that for what you will. It's a necessary evil, and I hate to use that terminology, but it's true. It's a necessary evil at this point, because we're all connected. We have to communicate. But on the other track, again, rugged individualism is being eradicated.
yeah, systematically attacked. I was just about to say that any sort of off the grid or take care of yourself or produce your own food is being made illegal. You can't even.
Diversity of
Yeah,
thought, diversity true diversity, not the bullshit diversity they tell you. Diversity of thought is discouraged. They don't want public debate. They don't want people to talk. They don't want fellowship among people, unity among people.
correct. Because when we start cooperating and stop listening to them, we're gonna realize who the real enemy is, and it's the one trying to separate us. And
You know, there's good collectivism, which in this case is organic unity, and there's bad collectivism, which in and the other example is the forced grouping of the whole idea of Democrat versus Republican,
mhm,
or Christian versus Muslim, or
black
black
versus
versus
white.
white.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
that's the bad collectivism. That's the tribalism. You have tribalist collectivism and you have organic collectivism. Organic collectivism is good. That unity is good. But what's great about organic collectivism is because people still, at the same time, understand how to be individuals and also cooperate.
That's right.
That is what's being discouraged. They don't want that, because then, guess what? The people have the power. And when you get to the spiritual level, they don't want you to have the power over your worship. They want to demonize you, no pun intended, uh, by just calling you the blasphemer, by saying you want to walk with God in your own way, your own personal relationship with God. Oh, you can't have a personal relationship with God. You have to go to church every Sunday. You can't do this and this on the Sabbath.
Right.
Well,
Well,
guess what? You can.
they're eager to hold up mock ceremony and ritual and give you no practical instruction on what actually walking with God looks like. And I always try to tell people this: Christ wasn't a Christian. He didn't adhere to any of the things that humankind instated in his name. Matter of fact, like he was about 12 years old, mentioned in the Bible, and then they don't mention him again until he was 35. What the
Hail
fuck do
to
you think
just
he was
another
up
red
to?
shirt.
What's up, guys? So what do you?
Hail to the weekly roundup radio show. Good day, all. What's going on, man? Great to see you.
Buddies
Go
from
ahead,
down under.
Clay.
Yeah, so from 12 to 35, what the fuck do you think he was up to? Because they're
Mm-hmm.
not going to tell you what he was up to, because in that space of time, he self-actualized. That whole thing about I and the Father are one, you know, there's a way to do that, and that part's conveniently left out. Now, it's not like we don't have any instructions whatsoever, but the church will tell you that there are things that they have withheld from the public because they think it's too dangerous, or they don't think we're ready, or they don't think we can handle it, but mostly because it would upset the balance of power and have us going to the Vatican with pitchforks and fucking torches because we can
Well,
hide them.
to be fair, and hail Joe, to be fair. All right, red shirt. That's a good point. And RR had a couple good points before you. He said you can't have collectivism without individualism, and vice versa. Two sides of the same coin. It's about finding harmonic balance, and I agree with that. But I also agree with red shirt's point. When you have individualism in a collective, you need gulags for the individualists. And yes, that's where we're at with today's society now. Okay, if you have a collective that functions like a cooperative, as Coyle was saying, then okay, you can have individualism in a cooperative, because it also focuses on exceptionalism of the individual, as well as benefiting greater society.
Sure.
So So you have that, and that's what we need to get back to. We were more of a cooperative society before. Then we went to this forced collectivism. And I'm sorry, but this forced collectivism now sucks. I'm done with the woke shit. And yes, I'm a blasphemer against their religion, against the religion of wokeness, because it's founded on bullshit.
It's divisive by nature.
It's founded on wickedness and bullshit. And
Yeah,
yes, I have no qualms with saying, well, I respect a person's privacy, and if they're whether they're gay, not gay, whatever, that's fine. You do you, boo. But guess what? It's still, in my estimation, a sin. But I'm immortal. I can't judge you. The ultimate judge you will receive at the end of your days. So who am I to say? But the tranny folk, the child groomers, you best believe I will tell you you are blasphemers, and I will tell you you should burn. The people that are kid diddlers, I will tell you you should burn and give you a severe beating on the spot, most likely, if I know you're a kid diddler.
I'll facilitate your introduction to the afterlife. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and this idea of individualism and collectivism, if you want to talk about Jesus at the temple, the collectivist at that time had become wicked. So what's he do? He goes to the fucking temple and uproots it. Right? Kicks over tables, kicks out the fucking money changers. He's like, you cannot do this here. You're doing unholy shit and calling it holy. We're in
Well,
that same time right now.
he exposed the charlatans,
Yeah.
because back then, again, and I understand a lot of the brick and mortar churches, a lot of the congregational churches, they do good for the community. They genuinely do give whatever funds that they receive, minus their operating costs, they give it back to the community. But at the same time, yes, Jesus exposed the charlatans. He exposed, basically the televangelist style of things.
So this is something I believe is that the second coming of Christ, if you will, is going to be in the hearts and minds of the enlightened. We are living in a time where it's not at temple, but it's all around us. Or if you will, you worship your fucking social media and they're using it to pull the wool over your eyes. It's time for us to fucking flip the tables on this motherfucker, to cast out the money changers of this motherfucker.
Well, one of the first purchases I'm going to make, ironically enough, because I was sad to say that, I hunted high and low for it, because I really wanted to keep our house Bible, as I was going through everything of my mom's and my parents. And I didn't find our house Bible. So I'm going to order me a new Bible, first thing when I can. I wish I actually could order one now, but I'm just not in a financial position to order an order of fries, much less a Bible. So I will at some point get a nice new Bible. But the important thing is that's all you need to worship. If you generally follow the Ten Commandments, you follow the teachings of Jesus, if you follow the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So simple. And you can live good. You could be, an honorable man or honorable woman.
Easy.
It's so easy. So in the end, what it boils down to, it's your personal relationship with your creator. I'm very happy with my relationship with God. The Father, Son, Holy Spirit. I'm very happy with that. And I make no apologies to anyone, whether it be traditionalists in my church, whether it be to quote Christians sitting on the sidelines judging me, saying you're not saved. You know what I say to your judging me and you're not saved? I say this. I say, fuck you with a double dip.
There you go, man.
Because I am strong enough that I know I'm blazing with the light of God. I'm walking with God. What are you doing?
Right.
Being a mere man or mere woman and judging others. It's not your place to judge others. It's your place to welcome others.
It's the height of irony to me that people will kill other people over which message of peace and love is correct. I mean, come
Well,
on.
and again, it goes back to what I said before, dude. There is no one right way.
Nope.
The only way that there is how you choose to worship, how you choose to talk to God, how you choose to maintain your relationship with the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. It's not my place to judge that. It's not anyone's place to judge that.
Nope. Nope. Let no man come between you and the Almighty.
And listen, I see that the question, because Wook always brings up crazy heavy shit, and I always know when Wook is smoking because he's smoking right now if he's talking on that tangent. But
He's talking my language.
But the thing is, okay, where did consciousness come from? Well, I do believe, I still do believe, and maybe some of you believe this and maybe some of you don't. I still believe God created the universe. And I still believe that our consciousness, our energy, our soul, it's special. And I think that's the most unique gift that we were gifted from God is our soul, because that's a unique thing to us. It's a great gift, but but this whole idea that you guys are talking about, this is for a complete other show. but I understand the rabbit hole you guys are going down there. Cheesy Burton says Muslims are having babies. We are not, and babies can't come out of your butt, Transformers. Right. Exactly.
Nope, and they know that, and that's why they want it that way, to reduce the population.
They want. Oh my God, dude, they want to try. They want to try. They want to be it so bad. They want to try to replace women so bad, and they have to sit there and cope and seethe because they can't do it. They can't beat natural humanity, natural anatomy. They can't do it. They can't beat it. They say, worship at the altar of science. They're not spiritual. Well, guess what? Your science, you can't find any junk biologist that's going to say, oh, yes, a man is a woman and a woman is a man. Fuck you. You can if you pay them enough.
No, that's the thing.
If you ain't paying them, they're going to tell you you're full of shit.
Mankind will never invent anything better than the vagina. I'm sorry. No. Sorry, Transformers.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, hate to inform you. If you ain't got a uterus, you ain't gonna be popping out no babies.
No.
No,
and even that, I don't trust. I don't trust a lot of them to raise healthy children. I'm not saying it can't be done in some instances, but there was this video floating around on Twitter the other day where this kid's running around and he's probably like 6 or 7, and he starts off looking like a little boy, and then he's like wearing dresses, and playing with Barbie dolls and shit. And he's like, and I'm okay because my dad says so. And then, like, in the very next frame, his dad, who is obviously uh, on the spectrum, hugs his kid and looks proud at the camera. And it's so clear that it's such a setup. It's like this 10-second commercial for make your kids unreproducible,
Well, what's funny about all this, dude, is
You're welcome, Terminus.
the one thing that I love about this stream right now, Coil,
What's up,
is
buddy?
I'm equally pissing off every single denomination under the sun.
Oh, you have to.
I'm pissing off the Jews, I'm pissing off the Muslims, I'm pissing off the Catholics, the Christians,
Oh, yeah.
everybody.
You're talking to the guy who brought you savage spirituality. I'm on board with you, buddy.
But the thing is look, it's not revolutionary. All of this, it goes back to simply the true ministry of Jesus. It's all he wanted. Hey man, if you follow me, you pray to my heavenly Father, things are gonna be okay, dude. I don't care how you do it. You want to chill under a tree and pray? Go for it. You want to go in a big fancy brick and mortar building? Go for it.
Well, it's really as simple as don't be a dick to people.
Yeah.
And if you see somebody else being a dick, stop them from doing it. That's pretty fucking simple, right?
And it's funny here too. Again, and I want to come in on the judgy Christian side of things too. And man, I know Christian's been catching the ass whooping from me in the stream, but look, I'm gonna call you out because a lot of you are judgy frauds. I'm just being real with you. And you may not want to hear it, but this is just truth. So I had some Christian lady that I replied to on Twitter because I quote tweeted her. I put her on blast because she said praying to Mary, the mother of Jesus, was idolatry. And again, and I'm speaking to this lady right now. I ain't gonna put your name out there, lady, but look, I'll tell you this. Because I finally got the opportunity to say it on a live stream. So I'll tell you this. It is an idolatry. Okay? Mary was a saint. Saint Mary, the Blessed Mother, was a saint. She's a mother of Jesus. She carried the Son of God in her womb. She is connected to the Son of God. We pray to Saint Mary. We pray to Mary, the Blessed Mother, because in times when we need that ultimate maternal instinct, especially if our own mothers aren't there, for some people, a simple prayer to the ultimate Blessed Mother is enough to give them that solace. And who are you to take that away from them and claim that it's idolatry? Again, you're sitting in a seat of judgment you have no business sitting in. So, I'm sorry, Christians, but if you think that saying a prayer to the Blessed Mother or saying a prayer to Saint Mary Magdalene or saying a prayer to any one of the apostles, praying to Saint Peter, or praying to Saint Andrew, praying to Saint Anthony, if you've ever lost an object, said a simple prayer or an attention to Saint Anthony to find that. And guess what? Sometimes it works. I've asked for an intercession by Saint Andrew that I may gain some strength living up to my namesake. I'm not blaspheming. It's not idolatry. You know, I'm sorry you live in your world of being judgy pricks. But, you know, it's all in the Bible, man. And just because you interpret the Bible a certain way that I don't, doesn't mean that I'm wrong, doesn't mean you're wrong. But what is wrong is you being judgy and making them snap generalizations. That's what's wrong. And that's why I think y'all are pricks. All right, I rest my case.
Well, there you go. There's 7.5 billion people on the earth. There should be 7.5 different paths. You know, there's marvelous examples out there. There's not so marvelous examples. I think the point is you could be the next example if you just applied yourself. Whoever you're listening, whoever can hear this.
I just don't like snap judgments. I don't like judgy people.
I don't think anybody does, except for people who are judging. You know?
I try not to judge people. All I ask is that, you know, if you're going to be the person you're going to be, just be real. If you're an evil asshole, then be an evil asshole. If you're a good person and you live by the golden rule, then be a good person and live by the golden rule. If you're an evil asshole and you show you're an evil asshole, I'm liable to punch you in the face. But, you know, hey, I'll give you at least a respect for being real, but I'll still punch you in the face. Because, you know, I do believe in people getting justice for their actions. Street justice, not social justice bullshit.
Well, and we do have to acknowledge that the hidden hand has been steering the course of civilization, but we're at the point now where we are aware of the hidden hand's tricks. So we're at a point where we can begin individually to take that fucking thumb off our forehead.
Yeah. Real quick, Coyle, couple things before we get back to our discussion. I do want to say, of course, in the pinned comment tonight, obviously, I have the Give Send Go up. And listen, folks, I am in the process of moving. Not going to lie, I've been transparent with all. Right now is a time that I'll be real. The last couple weeks and this next week and a half, it's been hell. For the majority of February, I haven't had money nor food. I'm trying to make it desperately to this finish line. As of March 10th, the home will close. And at that point, I will come into some money. But until then, I have nothing. And I do need a little bit of help in the interim. So if you consider giving to that Give Send Go, it's givesendgo.com/Taylor Home Project. Just so I can get to the finish line, so I can desperately get some things done and have that money to be able to have the move, especially given the fact that I'm not going to have access to any money until probably a few days after the closing. Because I imagine with the deposit in like a 5-digit deposit coil, you have to wait, 48 to 72 hours?
Something like that, yeah.
So, you know, I would ask folks that whether you can give or not give, or even just share that link out to the Give Send Go, you're doing a huge service to help. Even sharing the link. So if you consider doing that and helping a brother out, I will be forever grateful. But whatever you do, I just want to say thank you for supporting this program and continuing to support this content. So, Coyle, back to you. Take it away. And feel free to pontificate for a few minutes because I need to slip away and use the head for a second.
Of course. Of course. So yeah, it's very important. Go ahead and share out the link. Help out Drew if you can. Um, we need to have a little bit of perspective on this as well. Drew comes from a Christian background. That's going to be the reference for his belief system. That's cool. I don't think he's saying you have to be a Catholic and you have to believe in blah blah blah. I think what the real point is, we look at where it says Midnight Prism episode 20, organized religion and control. In my view, you don't need an intermediary. If you want to pray to Saint whoever the fuck, go ahead and do it. Pray to Mary, pray to whatever. I personally think it's more helpful to go out and take a walk, stare at the universe. One thing Drew said earlier that I think we should really re-examine was that story about dude under the fig tree. If God or whatever you want to call it made the entire universe should be your fucking temple. And you don't really need a ceremony unless you want to ask somebody for one. It's as simple as being willing. It's as simple as learning how manifestation works. And people know how to pray, but most people use prayer to ask for things for themselves. You know, um, I would think a proper prayer would be more uh, like the one, that I say. I say, send me to those who need me, and send me those who I need, and then you know, off to the races from there. Um, Spirituality doesn't need to be mysterious and fucking behind the veils and all this kind of shit. It's really quite straightforward. It's the act of being who the fuck you are unapologetically. And you don't need to put on robes, you don't need to blow smoke, you don't need any of that shit. You just need earnest steadfastness and belief in your identity as a spiritual being, and belief in the purpose that you incarnated for, and then have the faith and the courage to carry that out. Because I'll guarantee you this: the second that you declare your truth and who the fuck you are, everybody else will deny it. And then it'll be up to you to walk it despite everybody's denial. That's just how it fucking is. And that's the difference. That's actually one of the truths that they're trying to hold back. There's this whole perception war to demasculinize the male, overmasculinize the female, tear apart the nuclear family, and make it incapable of reproduction, especially in the United States, because we're the biggest enemy towards freedom in the world. So you get a man who is torn down, put down, and put off his purpose, then what good is he? He's no good to his family, and he is no good as a soldier to defend his country. And I particularly do have to say him. Because listen, I mean, I love all you ladies. Trust me, I love you. But as men, we are the warrior, we're the healer, we're the priest. By our strength, by our determination, by our fortitude, by our morals, by our emotion and our willpower, we bring life to our family. That's what inspires women to want to follow us and to have babies with us. It's up to us. You know, the modern program that they're trying to instill, saying that women don't need no man and women can make their own money and blah blah blah. That's all fine and great. It's not going to do anything to repel our enemies. Because I'll tell you what, the second the EMP goes off or the zombies come out or whatever, your dog bites you and runs away, uh, Walmart's going to explode. Nobody's going to know what to do. Nobody's going to know how to hunt their own food or grow their own food. Nobody's going to know how to make their own clothes. Some people, if their cell phone is off for longer than half an hour, they start to lose their mind. They are not comfortable within themselves. They're not comfortable being silent because they have no relationship with silence. That's what meditation's for. That's what prayer is for. In the silence, you will find God. That's why it says, "Be still, and you will know my name is God." How about that?
Hey, you know what, dude? You know what, dude? Listen,
What's that, buddy?
whatever you said while I was gone, and I apologize, folks. I had to take a minute or two respite there and hit the head because I was like, truth be told, I was over here dropping bombs, and I apologize if anybody did hear those audibly. I mean, hey,
We didn't. We were grooving on some savage spirituality there, brother.
but the thing is you know the I think what it boils down to, and we'll leave it on this note, is just if you live a good life, period. All right, you don't need, and my fellow Catholics are going to chastise me for this, but here's the secret. Guess what? You don't need sacraments. You don't need to go to communion. You don't need to go to confession. These are man-made things. Okay, they're reenactments. It's no different than a Civil War reenactment. It's a reenactment. But, like, for example, confession, where they tell you you're absolved of your sin. Well, it's a get out of sin free card. I mean, the Italian mafia guys, they love being Catholic. You know why? Shit, they go whack somebody on Wednesday, go to church on Sunday, come out absolved and feel like $1,000,000. But didn't change the fact that they whacked somebody or broke a commandment or committed adultery and banged a stripper or whatever they did.
Right. And then you just go in the box and you tell Mary how sorry you are.
It's not, yes, you should. If you know that you're living in sin, repent your sin. That's fine. But that's on you. That's your relationship with God. You don't need an intercessor to tell you you're absolved.
There you go.
God will let you know. Because in the end, we're all going to stand before the ultimate judge before we move on to that next plane of existence. That's just how it is.
Well, there's no sense in doing good if you're scared to not do good. You should do good because it's good to do good.
Yeah, you just live by your moral code. That's it. That's
Yeah.
the very base of it all.
If you have no compunction about killing people and then using prostitutes and selling drugs, then don't act like you do. Don't put on the fucking show. Just, you might experience some consequences. I'm not saying you won't,
Mm-hmm.
but don't
You'll
go
get
around acting like you can,
you'll get the righteous justice that the street provides.
absolutely. They
Plain
just
and
have a way
simple.
of working themselves out that way,
Mm-hmm. So you should live by a moral code because that's what makes us good humans. But anyways, the bottom line is this. Organized religion has been a control mechanism for years, for centuries. Keep in mind that it is all, in the greater sense of it, part of the psyop. Maintain your free thought, maintain your discernment, maintain your vigilance and your individuality. because it's important to have those things. It's important to have that intact. And in the sense of the higher spiritual mysteries, because every faith talks about the fear and wonder of the higher mysteries. We're not always meant to understand the higher mysteries, but the pursuit of knowledge and the pursuit of truth are the most noble of pursuits. And with that, I bid you good night. I'll pass it over to Mortal Coil and let him tell you where he can be found. And then, of course, you can catch me every Sunday and every Tuesday on this channel for not only this program, the Midnight Prism, every Sunday, but for the best in politics and current events, and that is United Resistance, and that's every Tuesday, 6:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And with that, we pass it over to the Immortal Coil.
What's happening, my savage friends? You are listening to Immortal Coil, your oracle of whiskey mysticism. Revolution is my name. I want to thank you guys for coming out tonight. The best chat on the internet. We sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. You can find me here Sunday nights on Midnight Prism, where we go to the great beyond. We ask the big questions. We ponder upon the meaning of it all, and consider our fellow intelligent beings out there. Which I know that what do we got? 9 people live. 9 of you are certainly those intelligent people. Join
Well,
me in
we peaked at 18, Coil.
So there we go. 18. Yeah, and so join me in about 20 minutes. I'm going to be going live to do a savage spirituality where we kind of stay in this energy, in this headspace. We won't be talking about organized religion per se, but I do have some good topics coming up. So join me on my channel in about 20 minutes. Then you can find me on Tuesdays over on the United Resistance. We are cooking up something, Trina and I hope that it gets to a production phase, but once it gets going, we will let you know. I did come out with a new video last week, and I will be publishing one tomorrow. So yeah, come check it out. I would love to see you, and thanks for tuning in.
All right, I do want to, with that also say that, listen, I just put up a new video on the channel. This past Tuesday, obviously, when we did my birthday stream, and thank you, by the way, to all those of you that showed up for the birthday stream this past week. I enjoyed the company. I enjoyed bringing in my 49th birthday with all of you. And the video that I showed later on in that stream that I debuted, I just uploaded to YouTube the other day. So you have the opportunity on this channel to go and see my report from East Palestine, which shout out to Will for helping me with that and going down there with me. He also makes plenty of appearance in that video, but we did a good investigation. It's journalism and reporting that I am very proud of, and it's informative, and it's stuff that's relevant, and it's things that you need to know about. So check that report out. Please stop on that video, give it a like, boost the signal on it, because I guarantee you, there's not a whole lot of journalists actually going into the field and making an effort. I am one of those because I am going after the truth, because it's not just that I want to bring the truth to you folks. It's the fact that I want to be on the front lines of that information war in humanity's fight to exist. And that, my friends, is my calling. Because when it comes down to it, when they start coming for us, which they already have, when they start trying to kill us, which they already have, you can count on me to be a leader. So thank you again. And you guys, please keep your head on a swivel. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I will be back on Tuesday, and we will have a great discussion on United Resistance, I'm sure. So, again, my friends, if you can help out in any way with the Give, Send, Go, even just share it out, please do so, because it will help in the long run. So thank you very much. And I will leave that link one more time in the chat, giveSendGo.com/Taylor Home Project. And I will see you soon on Tuesday. Please do take good care of yourselves.
Be safe, you guys.
Peace. Appreciate you. Love you guys. All right.